Ballers. 2-1 in the way. This one's unloaded on. High and deep and left. Looking up, McNair. That ball's on the berm and out of here. Ryan Galanie continues the fun for Kannapolis in this bottom of the sixth. It's a two-run blast for the Ballers. And who else? Ryan Galanie adds it. It is 12-4. Galanie with another home run is.
Well, hello, White Sox fans, and welcome to a special edition of the FutureSox podcast, the interview special. My name is Ian Eskridge. Joining me is James Fox. How are you, James? You good?
I am good, sir. How's it going?
I'm doing well. Well, the highlight we just saw, courtesy of the Kannapolis Cannonballers and Dan Haloti, is Ryan Galanie, who is our guest today. Let's just go ahead and bring him in right now. How you doing, Ryan? Good to see you.
Good. Yeah, good. How are y'all?
Doing great. James, do you want to get the stuff going here?
Yeah, so I guess just to preview it just a little bit for listeners. I know Ryan told us off air he didn't really think about it too much, but a triple slash in Kannapolis of 348, 430, 572. Obviously, you played there a little bit last year, but you're having a big year to start. 7 homers there, walking at a 10% clip. So, pretty good year just to let some of the listeners know that might not be familiar. And then Ryan was a 13th round pick of the Sox last year. So welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, no, thank y'all for having me on. I really appreciate it. And nice hat, Ian.
You like that? Kannapolis Q. Good stuff. So you went to, is it Moeller High School?
Yes, sir. No.
So if you want to go ahead and tell the listeners, both James and I have looked at the alumni from that high school, and the names that are on that list of alumni are absolutely insane. Do you want to just go ahead and tell us a little bit about your high school career and some of the alumni that go there or went there?
Yeah. Moeller is a storied program for many sports in Ohio as well as nationally. I think they have 2 or 3 football national championships, a couple undefeated seasons in basketball, and then the baseball program is one of the more storied programs nationally. I think it's one of the only schools outside of California with multiple Hall of Famers in the baseball Hall of Fame. It's awesome to go there. I think it's a special opportunity when you get to be a part of a program where there's around a professional player every year coming out of there, whether it's after college or after high school. Ken Griffey Jr. and Barry Larkin are the 2 that made it out of there after high school. Or I don't know if Larkin went out of high school, but I know Griffey did. And it's cool to be a part of that history. I know a couple guys that I played with or saw when I was a freshman playing are in the pros now, and there's been a couple MLB guys in the past couple of years, so it's been awesome to see that and kind of have a frame of reference for what I want my career to look like and people to learn from. I know in the off season I get to train with a couple guys like Cameron Junker, Nick Bennett, Tyler McDonough. Just keeping in touch with those guys who were at Moeller when I was there in some capacity has been awesome and very helpful for me.
Yeah, so in Chicago we have Tom Waddle does radio in the afternoon. He's a Moeller guy, so he always kind of talks about that. He played for the Bears in the early 90s, and he just hosts in the afternoons now.
Oh yeah, well if he played in the NFL in the early 90s, he probably played under some tough coaching at Moeller. So I don't know. I know he'll be all right with whatever he does. But yeah. It's awesome. I mean, there's a couple guys in the bigs or that have been in the bigs within the last couple of years. Zach Logue, Philip Deal, Brent Suter is still up there. Surkamp, I believe. Eric Surkamp was with the A's for a while. So just awesome to be able to have my name with theirs. So something I'm really grateful for.
Absolutely. So you end up at Wofford, and just looking at the slash lines over there, in 22 and 23, the OPS was roughly about 1,100 in 2022, and I think it was 1160 or something like that in 2023. Do you just want to go ahead and give us fill people in on about Wofford in general and how your stay was there.
I love Wofford. It was great for me. I didn't play very much my first 2 years there, which is tough. It was kind of like high school for me. I didn't play until my senior year on the varsity team there. So you get kind of slapped in the face a little bit as a freshman, like most people do when they go to college, unless they're very talented. But yeah, I turned it around a little bit in 2022, kind of got my footing and my confidence back, and I had 2 really good years. And I think a lot of that boils down to the people I was around. A lot of them who were playing at Power Fives in the tournament this week. Wofford opens up against LSU. So if you guys watch that game, I don't know how much college baseball you watch, but put a cheer in for my Wofford boys. I think they got it. I think they got game 1 against LSU. But yeah, no, our coaches at Wofford really helped change my career. Being under Todd Donato and JJ Edwards offensively is 2 of the best names I can think of that many people don't know about. T.I. is now currently at Boston College and trying to help that program, and knowing him and his work ethic and what he knows about the game, he's going to do just fine there. And JJ taking over as the head coach in his first year, I think the team is batting above 330. And they're in a regional for the first time since 2007. So it's a really good program that nobody knows about, and I was fortunate enough to play there at a tournament in high school, and my mom made me send an email to their coaches. And like everyone says, mama knows best, and I ended up going there, and they taught me that being great is just being good a lot. So that's what I try and do every day.
It's awesome. So then, after that draft day experience, you went day 3. What was that like? Like, was there day 2 interest? I know. So like, obviously, like the draft gets weird, right? Where there's a lot of senior signs and stuff late on day 2, like that sort of thing. So just, I guess from that perspective, what range did you think you might go in? And then just like, how was that experience for you?
It was really weird. I thought that I could go anywhere from the 4th round on. And I thought anywhere from 4 to 15 was kind of an area I could be taking, or could be taken depending on the money. I got a couple offers day 2 from the White Sox, actually, that I turned down, hoping for a little bit more money on day 3. And with good guidance from my agent and the Lord, it worked out in my favor. And I got a great opportunity with the White Sox that I couldn't turn down. I was actually in Cape Cod playing, and I was on a boat with my current girlfriend. And when I got the call from my agent, he said, "You're getting taken this round," and we turned on the show, and we were just listening and hearing my name. It was awesome. So it was an interesting draft day experience. I wasn't with my family. I went to a game after and hung out with the team. I wasn't allowed to play, of course, but I was on a boat in Cape Cod, and it doesn't get much better than that, in my opinion.
How much contact did you have with the White Sox, with Kevin Burrell, like in general? And then was that, I guess, if you said that you were going to get taken, is that one of the teams that you thought had heavy interest, or not really?
Mr. Burrell is a good dude. I really like him. I had talked to him on the phone a good amount, and I had known that he likes me as a player through our head coach, Todd Donato. And according to him, the people he likes, he's very fond of, and there's not all the time a whole bunch of them. So knowing that he was interested and was kind of welcoming, I guess is the word for it. Like I knew there was going to be an opportunity somewhere if somebody like him really liked me, and I played good in front of other teams. So I expected to be taken. But when Burrell called and was offering me different figures throughout day 2 and day 3, I knew that the White Sox were probably the team that was going to take me.
So I think I had saw some. So if it wasn't like if you didn't turn pro, were you gonna get in the portal and go somewhere else potentially, or?
Yeah, so I was committed to Tennessee.
Okay.
Coach V and their staff was great to me. So were some of their players. I played with Cannon Peebles, who's currently there in Cape Cod and was in the transfer portal as well. And they came up to watch us play, and it was great to meet them in person. I didn't take any visits. I didn't really want to waste anybody's time, knowing that I had a strong chance of going to pro ball. But having Tennessee and their fan base and that school and that program as another option was made my life easy at the time. So I'm very appreciative to them. I've texted Coach V the last when they won the regular season and when they won the championship, and he's responded and said they've been checking in on me. So they're really good people, and that program is going in the right direction.
So you've been mostly playing first base with the Cannonballers. Do you feel is that your where you feel most comfortable? Are there other positions that you feel comfortable at also that we might see you kind of work around in at all?
Yeah, no, I've been playing a lot of first. I've worked a little bit in the outfield. I didn't get a whole lot of opportunity to do that in spring training. Because of our limited first baseman in minor league camp. So because of that, I've been playing a lot more first now and hope to work into the outfield as the season goes on. Here and there, I know Caden Connor's doing it right now, so kind of doing that, as well as possibly playing some third base. I know I can pick it at first a little bit, so transition that over to third. I played there a little bit in college and struggled then. Not necessarily struggled, but didn't play as good of a third base as I did first. But I've learned a lot in the last 2 years defensively and mentally that I feel like I can take over there and can make that another viable option.
James, did you have a question about third base? That we were talking about this a couple of days ago about you playing third base.
Yeah, no, I mean, and it seems like the way the White Sox system is right now, they don't have like a bunch of guys that are like definite first basemen, right? So they just kind of slide some of you guys over there and play there. I know, Burrow was emphatic that you're not a first base only guy, So he's like, no, he can play other spots. I've seen him play other spots. So then just like from your perspective, right? Like you understand how this goes. Like if you are first base, like you have to mash, and you are in Kannapolis, but going forward, would you agree like that probably it does help being a little bit versatile and being able to play maybe both corners and third a little bit?
Oh, definitely. No, I definitely want to be the most versatile defender I can be. I think that only gives me an advantage. I know there's a lot of great first basemen in our organization, or guys that are playing first that are playing really well. I know Sean Goosenberg and Bryce Willitson, higher performing extremely well. Tim Elko has always performed, and I haven't been checking the stats that much, but I know Oscar Colas was playing first a lot in spring training, and he's in AAA, I believe, still, if not, I'm mistaken. But he is a very impressive bat to be around. So I know for me to keep moving at the rate I want to, I need to play other positions, and I'm more than open to do that.
So how would you describe your hitting instruction with the White Sox system compared to your how it was in college leading up to that, and maybe the Cape Cod as well?
Everywhere I've been has been very different. Wofford has a very distinct style of playing baseball and offense, and it's a very unison, idealistic offensive strategy where if everybody does this and we're very aggressive on the bases, then it will turn over time. Then you go into pro ball and playing in Cape Cod. It's very you need to be ready to hit the heater, and it's more of not single guys performing well. I would say our team is very similar to what we did at Wofford, but also has a mixture of a lot of talent that anybody can put the ball out of the park. I mean, Riku hit 5 home runs in college and 4 of them were with wood bats. He might be the smallest kid on the field, but I mean, he can do whatever he wants. So the hitting instruction's been a little bit different. It's a little bit of whatever you do well, continue to do that well, and try and get a little bit better at other things. We have really good coaches and coordinators with Danny Santine and Alan Zenter. They're great. Our coach is Charlie Romero here, and then all the way up, I know the guys in Arizona all the way through the guys in AAA. Whenever I played with them in spring training, they all had great things to bring to the table. Even guys that were here last year that aren't anymore, like Barquette. I mean, he is full of great information. So it's been awesome to be in pro ball and learn these things. I know it's only helped me so far.
Yes, I mean, you joined the organization in July, and then there's obviously a front office change, and the minor league director becomes the GM. It's probably a whirlwind for you, right? And you mentioned Barquette. Like, did you even have time to like notice changes from like, old regime when you first arrived to new regime right now? I mean, you mentioned Zinter too. He's the new hitting guy. So just, like, is it, you don't have to like give specifics, but is it like an obvious change or not really? You're just trying to do as well as you can in Kannapolis, basically.
Of course, there's some things you see. But front office wise, I didn't really notice anything. I don't feel like I had enough time. The Getz as the coordinator turning GM, I really didn't know what it meant at the time. I was in a hotel with Noah Schultz in Myrtle Beach last year when it happened, and I was more just asking him, of a guy who had been around, what that meant for us, considering we had just gotten drafted by what some would consider an old regime. But having him take over, I felt like is a good thing because he knows who we are. We're still his players, where if a new GM came in, possibly we weren't.
Yeah.
I try not to play GM a lot, but that's what I got on that one. Hitting wise, there's definitely some new things. Everybody's got their own philosophies and their own things that they believe are important. And what Zenter brought in, we kind of have a couple of pillars that are important to White Sox hitting. And they're very similar to different things we worked on with Barquette in the past, but also there's statements that are all over walls now, and we're constantly reminded of them. So I just wasn't around enough last year to know if that was in the past, but I know that's what's going on now, and I feel like we're in a good direction.
So you mentioned him. Have you taken BP against Noah Schultz before?
I have not.
Yeah, you don't. You should probably. Yeah, that doesn't seem fun. Yeah.
No, he's pretty good from what I've seen from playing defense for him. I'm happy for him. I know he's going to do well in Double-A and eventually the majors. He's going to be unreal.
Yeah, his first outing in Birmingham was ridiculous. One ball got out of the infield in 4 innings. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
this year's Cannonballer squad, you guys have been on a tear lately. Why is it going well in Kannapolis this year as opposed to the way things were going last year?
We got a good group. We've really meshed well, the entire team, whether it's guys that speak very little English to guys that only speak English. Everybody's friends, even if you can only communicate by laughing. We're all laughing with each other. So that really helps no matter what's going on. Our pitching staff's been unreal. It's hard to lose when you're only giving up 3 runs a game. So those guys have been unreal. We've been together since the draft, most of us. And if we haven't, it's been guys that have been in Kannapolis for a little bit, like Batista, who is also lights out every game. And guys can really get behind each other and support each other because nobody's trying to outshine the other. They're all trying to make our collective light better. Everybody wants to win. Of course, we all have our individual goal of getting to the big leagues, but I think one of the things we've talked about collectively is none of us just want to get there and leave. We want to get there and win when we're there. And winning's a culture thing, and if we can create the culture now of winning at the lowest level, we can win at the highest level.
Yeah. So then how does that go? Just as far as obviously, like you got the phone call that you're going to Winston-Salem. I'm sure you'd be thrilled about that, right? But how much do you want to win with Kannapolis first before, it's probably tough.
Yeah, no, I try not to get too caught up in it. I know in Winston they're actually doing pretty well now. They're I think top 3 in their division or top 3 in the league. So they're fighting up there, trying to get close to the one spot. And wherever we go, we want to win. I really think that's our class's thing, our draft class, and the Latin guys that are around. That's kind of our collective thing right now, and I hope that we keep moving up the organization with it. Whether I'm in Winston or Kannapolis, I try not to get too caught up in it. I tell anybody that really brings it up, whether I'm in Arizona or Chicago or anywhere in between, I got to hit. So I just try and focus on hitting.
Speaking of promotions and things like that, what are your goals for the rest of this season?
For me, I think the biggest thing is not to set any limits or expectations on myself, that because I haven't played a full year of pro ball, I don't know what I can possibly achieve or what I can limit myself in. I know, of course, everybody wants to hit 30 home runs and steal 30 bags and win a championship with whatever team they're on and finish in AA, AAA, or the bigs, right? But for me, it's really just not stopping myself and continuing to grow.
Well, it's looked pretty good this year.
Yeah. So I will say, Ryan, like you had a solid debut last year. We always hear about this with college guys, and it's been a big topic with a guy like Jacob Gonzalez, right? Like he struggled last year for whatever reason, but it's a long season, and then this year he's fine, right? And it's always a thing for college guys. Did you feel that last year? Like you play an entire college season, you get drafted, you report to Arizona, and then you're still playing. And I think like it's easy to like for guys like us to like wave some of that off, like, oh, it's the draft season, it's no big deal, right? But you guys like always want to be successful. So how tough was that? Just you play your full college season and then you get drafted and then it's like more baseball than you've ever played before.
Yeah. For me, it didn't feel like a crate. It felt like a long time, but I also had breaks in between. When we finished our college season, I think we played right around 60 games. I played in all but one of them, I think. I got a week before I went to play summer ball in Cape Cod, and then I played there, and I think I got 20 games in before the draft, and I got a week before we started draft camp. So I kind of got refreshments along the way that you don't always get in a full season like we're playing in now. So it didn't feel like too much. I take pretty good care of my body normally, so my body felt fine. Mentally, I felt fine from the breaks. And then when you get into pro ball, you're kind of pumped with adrenaline, like you would expect. It was full go from there, and you're living the dream, and you want to be doing it. So yeah. A bunch of guys year round that have been playing for the full year are kind of chugging on fumes at the end, and they like it's tough. It's a tough thing to do. It's a tough profession, but for a young guy like me, I knew I was ready to go, and I wanted to keep going.
So just Ian, really quick. So Ryan, I haven't asked anybody this yet, and it's just a change for this year with the Arizona League. Okay, like I don't know if you're familiar. Like they started early this year. They're going to end like right around the draft, so there's no Arizona Complex League like for this year's draftees. Really? Yeah. So they basically split it where like they started early, so they're going to be done. So somebody in your position, this year, like a 13th round college guy, you could go out there and play, like some Instructs games essentially that don't count for anything, and then probably go to Kannapolis. But it's kind of a weird change because I think scouting directors or, farm directors kind of felt like there just wasn't enough pitching at the end, and this is a better idea. I'm curious to see how it goes. But, so like for some like guys like yourself, I think a lot of guys are going to be going to low A. I just don't know if you have like any opinion on that change potentially, or like, it being different, but.
Yeah, no, I got really no opinion. That's the first time I've heard of it. So my thoughts aren't gathered enough to make an opinion on it. But I mean, good for those guys. Playing in Kannapolis is awesome. So I hope they enjoy it. Uh, I hope we can. The one thing I can think of is I hope we can still instill, or we can continue to instill the culture we want to instill in those kids or in those guys. I mean, they're all going to be super talented. I've seen nothing but good things from the players we've drafted in the last year, 2 years, 3 years. So I know they're going to make good decisions, and I hope that we can be there and guide them to help them become the best players they can so we can win championships.
Speaking of Kannapolis, the crazy nightlife in Kannapolis, what kind of things around there is there to do that you guys generally get out and hang out a little bit with?
Yeah, Kannapolis it's a nice area. The downtown is honestly one of those like a small town vibe in the South that you really enjoy being around. The downtown is really urbanizing and getting beautiful. There's a good Latin street food place called Sabor. I eat there a lot. I really enjoy it. There is a brewery / cidery. They're connected with an underground bowling alley and like arcade. And I guess if we're like all hanging out or just doing something, we'll go bowl or play arcade games. My dad set a record on the pinball machine there. It was pretty impressive. But
I'm sure you've heard about that enough times, right? Like, yeah.
No, we're a little bit of a gaming family. We got a Pac-Man machine at the house and air hockey, foosball, ping pong, whatever you want to have. So he definitely holds that one over it a little bit, but he's a good dude. I'll let him have his fun on that, and I'll try and beat it next time. I think skee ball is my game.
Oh, you got anything else, James? You good?
No, I think we're good. Thanks for joining us, man. This has been fun. We'll have it out and promote it for sure. So get you out there a little bit. People need to know about the numbers you're putting up. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Thank y'all for the support, and thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it, and go White Sox.
Thanks a lot. We appreciate it, Ryan. Have a great night.